You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast. We are on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, place to hang out when every game is done, and you can listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA since 2007 for ESPN and NBC Sports Radio. Today's episode brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. Dodgers with yet another pathetic, pitiful, anemic, weak, sad, disgusting performance. They've now dropped 7 of 9 after losing to the Mets again, 6-4. And they're 12 and 11. I don't know. I don't know what to think or say, really. I know you don't win the World Series in April. I know they're dealing with injuries. But I also know that their bullpen is pathetic. And once again, let them off the hook. I do not want to give credit to the Dodgers starter, Gavin Stone. He was not good. 5 walks. Definitely if you were going to grade this performance, D+. Nobody gets an F if you participate, as far as I'm concerned. Never been a teacher. I did fill in once during a strike. Boy, that was a lot of fun. Crossing the picket lines. Thought I was there to help out and do some good. I got booed like crazy. But I have coached, and I feel like, if you participate, if you try, if you're giving it some effort and you go out there, you deserve at least a D, right? D+ for Gavin Stone. What did he do well today? He got out of 1 jam, right? So I give him a D for that. 3 1/3, 2 runs on 4 hits, 5 walks though, 1 K, ERA up to 6. Bullpen though was awful. Awful. Michael Grove was the only one that was kind of okay. 2/3 of an inning. He gave up 1 hit. So kudos to him. Yarbrough would have been okay. Dave Roberts pulled him out of the game after a hit by pitch, which Eric Karros on the call thought did not hit the batter. I think it did, but the batter did not try to get out of the way. And I looked up the rule because I remember that from like Little League 100 years ago. If you do not make an effort to get out of the way, i.e. moving your legs, spinning into the ball, something, it is a dead ball. It is not a hit by pitch. And that guy made no effort because Yarbrough throws the ball like 62 miles an hour. And everything came unraveled at that point. Brazier gives up a home run. Joe Kelly was terrible again, although his stat line doesn't show it. Joe Kelly was terrible again. Vesia was okay. 2/3 of an inning, zeros across the board. And we've given Vesia a ton of crap. So at least Vesia came in and stopped the bleeding. Phillips, a run on a hit. Ramirez, the rookie, closed things down in the 9th inning, but it was over at that point. So bullpen really just not doing the job. The turning point of the game, without a doubt, that 3-run homer in the 6th by Marte. That came after the Yarbrough hit by pitch, which nobody challenged. And, they bring in Brazier and not first pitch, but first couple of pitches, first battery faces, Starling Marte, 432-foot home run. So I put a lot of this one on Dave Roberts. I'm not going to stand here and say that he needs to be fired, but it wasn't good. That's a bad series of events for them. And I'm sorry, Otani, we joked about it last night. For those of you who weren't with us, Craig's a regular, made the comment. I have to give credit to him. He's the worst 356 hitter in the league. He gets on base. Yes. What do you have? 3 walks today? His on base percentage is .630. But he also strikes out with the bases loaded. We're not paying that guy, the GDP of small third world countries to walk and get on base. No, that just pisses me off. I'm sorry. It's not a negative thing that he gets on base, but we're not paying Shohei Otani to stand up there and flail when the bases are loaded, striking out. I'm not a part of the team. It's not my money. It's their money. And the other thing is they don't have to give him anything right now except $2 million. But at some point they will be paying him a pretty penny. So let's just say that it's going to be a lot of money for them. But the Dodgers organization now or later is not paying Shohei Otani to walk. Am I wrong? He is not a guy that should be up there trying to walk. Generally speaking, the 2-hitter, yes, I would agree that the 2-hitter needs to get on base. Then move Shohei Otani out of that position. We've said that before here as well. Right? Betts, Otani, Freeman had 1K between them. Yes. You're right, BC. They had 1K. Did they have any runs? Yes. Freddie Freeman was very good today. Freddie Freeman busted out 3 RBI. Player of the game without a doubt. Otani, a hit, a run, no RBIs. Okay, fine. Again, Russell Westbrook racking up triple doubles on a losing team. Mookie Betts, 3 walks. His batting average is .356. Why am I not saying the same thing about Mookie Betts? Because Mookie Betts gets clutch hits. That's why. He didn't today, but he does. Shohei Otani, what is the number now? 2 for 21 with runners in scoring position, or maybe it's 2 for 22 now. Not good. Nothing about what's happening right now for this team is good. Talked to a colleague who lives in New York, and we were just kind of beating this team up like most people are right now. And he's like, during your thing, you should talk about the good parts of the postcast, or in the good parts of the game and the bad parts. Like, what are the positives? What are the negatives? We usually do that. I said, I do that. I did it last night. I can't find many positives today other than Freddie Freeman. He's the only positive. So I feel good about that. So we'll come back and continue to beat on them a little bit and try to find some positives. We'll get to the Diamond Dogs. The top 4 today, I couldn't find a number 1. I was too frustrated. After Freddie Freeman had the 2 RBI single to bring them within 1, there wasn't anything else that happened. I couldn't put anybody else on the list. I'm sorry. So the Diamond Dogs is a little short tonight. It's only the top 4 today, rather. Dodgers fall 6-4. They've lost 7 of 9. We'll come back after the break and, as I said, get the Diamond Dogs list. Thanks for joining us here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done, and the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. All right. Today's show brought to you by PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. Easiest and most exciting way to play daily DFS. That's redundant. DFS stands for daily fantasy sports. So easiest way to play DFS is just you against the numbers. You pick more or less on 2 to 6 players and their projections. Watch the winnings roll in. Talladega is tomorrow. NASCAR. The Geico 500, I believe, is what the name of that race is. And I was like, that's interesting. I bet they have some projections on there. And they did. I don't know enough about NASCAR to get in on it. And I don't feel like just blindly picking. I have watched the shows on Netflix. I'm like, I know some of these names like Keselowski and Joey Logano. But basically, it's like that you can pick how many laps will they lead, how many cars will they pass. There's fun things you can pick. If you're into NASCAR, go check that out. The Demons and Goblins are the newest and most exciting way to play with PrizePicks. Squares marked with red demons pay higher. Green Goblins are a little bit easier. Different payouts on both, but you can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. Quick deposits and easy withdrawals. I have to say my initial deposit was super painless and hassle-free. Withdrawals are the same way. Go to PrizePicks.com PrizePicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code LockedOnMLB for your first deposit match up to $100. That's PrizePicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code LockedOnMLB for your first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks.com. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. All right, Dodgers now 12-11. They're 500 at home, which is kind of mind-boggling because they dominated the Ravine. 6-4 the loss today. Freddie Freeman, 2 hits, both clutch, and made it to the Diamond Dogs list, which we'll get to. He had an RBI single, first pitch, fastball in the first inning, and that was tying the game up for the Dodgers after they gave up 1 in the first. And a little bit of credit right there in that top of the first inning should go to Gavin Stone because he did get himself out of that jam. Started with a 4-pitch walk, then a stolen base, a wild pitch. He struck out Marte, Lindor with a double. Alonso, I believe, made an out, then a walk, and then a mound visit. You never want to see a mound visit in the first inning, right? How does that feel for the pitcher? Not good, but in this particular situation, it seemed to help. He got Bader to ground out, and it was 1-0 after the top of the first, which was far better than I thought it was going to be. So he kind of stopped the bleeding, and maybe he deserves honorable mention on the Diamond Dogs list for getting out of that first, only giving up 1 run. Number 4, Gavin Lux, starting to heat up a little. I said it many times. You guys think his swing is terrible. I disagree. His swing looks good. He's squaring up balls. He's just not getting base hits like Chris Taylor, who didn't play today, which I thought was interesting as well. You know, he got a hit last night, seemingly starting to find his way a little bit, you know, making good contact, just not having any luck. And they give him a day off today. It's like, okay, way to cool the guy off, right? He's hot or at least warm, and you put him on the bench. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what happened. So Gavin Lux is also starting to heat up a little bit. You know, he's lukewarm. Making good contact, swinging the bat well. He had a line drive there in the 6th inning on a 1-0 sinker. So he gets number 4 on the list. And then number 3 on the list, Gavin Lux's defense, a diving stop in the 4th, saves a run for the Dodgers. So he had a nice game today. So give him some credit. He looked good. Number 2 on the list, Freddie Freeman, a 2 RBI single on a fastball to make it 5-4. So some clutch hitting from him. You know, with Otani doing his walking thing, I'm just going to stand up here and walk. And when I swing, I'm going to look like I've never played baseball before. That swing looks terrible to me, right? It is. You don't have to know much about hitting to know that the front hip for him, his right hip, needs to stay in on the ball, closed. He flails open. And I know a lot of Japanese players do that. Ichiro Suzuki was famous for it, still getting on base. And that's the way Japanese players hit. I understand that. I'm not that naive. I've seen them do that before, and they figuratively, seemingly have a way of doing it. I don't get it. That was one of my major problems as a junior college baseball player. I would always, you know, my hip and shoulder would fly out, pulls your head off the ball, all that stuff. And that's what Otani's doing. It's a fairly simple game, you know, at all levels. It's a little bit harder when they're throwing mid to high 90s with tailing action. How about, speaking of tailing action, how about that Diaz character? Jeez, when he struck out Teoscar Hernandez in the 8th inning, I was like, yeah, that's unhittable. I was mad. I was like, Teoscar, get a hit. Bases loaded. We need you right now. Betts walked, Otani walked, Freeman walked, and then Teoscar comes up with the bases loaded. Base hit, Dodgers tie the game at that point, or maybe even take the lead. I think it was 5-4 at that point. But strikes out. And then I think Eric Karros brought it up that, hey, those guys are on the mound trying to get you out. They're not up there trying to throw fastballs down the pipe for you to hit. They drive nice cars too, as Eric Karros put it. He stole the line from the other color commentator back in the studio. I'm forgetting his name. But yeah, it's true. Those guys are working hard. You know, it's not expected that somebody will get a hit. It's, you hope and you keep your fingers crossed. but Teoscar Hernandez just flat out got beat. I mean, he was 0 for 3 today with the bases loaded. Not a good day for Teoscar Hernandez. The Dodgers themselves as a team 1 for 8 with the bases loaded, 6 strikeouts. That's embarrassing. I know we live in a different day and age when it comes to baseball, as far as trying to hit home runs and not trying to make contact. There was 1, if not 2 opportunities. I believe that bases loaded in the 8th was with 1 out. Hit a fly ball, tie the game. Simple. It changes the complexion of everything. Who struck out there? I believe it was Teoscar and then Muncy. Yeah, Muncy struck out too. So just the opposite of clutch, right? Except for Freddie Freeman. No clutchness happening today. Boo this team. Yeah, right. I'm with you, Nando. Boo. Boo. The fans were getting on him today. Who's Andrew? Oh, Andrew Friedman. Andrew better get busy. Amen, Gilbert. I don't know what's going to happen. They need some more help in the bullpen, which they're going to get when Gratterall comes back. Walker Buehler's right around the corner. Some of these guys, we have to remember Gavin Stone is young. All right. I don't know that he's quite up to the challenge. I mean, the way we felt about Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May and Emmett Sheehan, in the last couple of years, like, all right, they're okay. They're pretty good. They're going to get out there and do the job, sort of, we hope. That's how we should feel about Gavin Stone. He's going to be okay. Let's hope he gets to 5, right? 3 1/3 today. I don't know. I thought he could have had a little bit more. Teoscar, Outman, Pages each had 3 Ks. Yeah, Outman had a base hit, which was nice. He squared one up going oppo just over the shortstop's head, hit it hard. But his other 3 at-bats were not good. Bottom of the 9th inning, strikeout looking. It was a bad call. Out of the strike zone. Catcher did a fantastic frame job. Don't love the framing. I think it's way too aggressive. I think the umpires allow way too much of it. Robot umpires. When are we going to get to that? We don't need these humans back there anymore. I'm sorry. Robot umpires. We don't have to deal with all this frame jobbing. Anyway, the point is that you bottom of the 9th down 2, you're the leadoff man. You can't be looking at that ball. It was 0-2. It's not 3-2. It's not 3-1. It's 0-2. Put a bat on the ball. Like, choke up and make contact. That's the new school part of me is get robot umpires. The old school part of me is put the ball in play. Is that too much to ask? Make some contact. Outman looking K, Pages is swinging K, and then Luck struck out too. When I heard those were the last 3 guys up in the bottom of the 9th, I'm like, I got to go start the postcast. This game's over. The Dodgers don't have a shot in hell. So Outman 1 for 5 today. Pages 0 for 4 with a run. Gavin Lux 1 for 5 with a run. Barnes 0 for 3, 2 Ks. Will Smith 0 for. Bottom of the lineup once again not producing. Max Muncy 0 for 3 with an RBI. That was a fly ball. Teoscar 0 for 3 with 3 Ks. Freddie Freeman, the only guy that did anything. Shohei got a hit. It was a nice double. But again, not doing anything productive. Not getting hits. Just, when Shohei Otani comes up and the bases are loaded, you're like, okay, here we go. Edge of your seat, there, home, wherever you are. You're like, yes, here we go. Pulling up your sleeves. Let's go. This is what we paid for, right? Let's see it. We need something out of you now. Hit something hard. Hit a fly ball. Score a run. No walk. I feel like obviously I'm covering it much closer now than I did last year when he was with the Angels. And maybe I just got caught up in the fact that, the local news or ESPN only showed the highlights. So I was like, damn, Otani's like raking and he's an MVP and he's taking care of business, right? That dude can play. I haven't seen any of that. Sorry. Haven't seen any of that. The home run, he had a couple home runs. He went on a nice little streak there. But guess what? Everyone around him was hitting, so it was okay. Coming up now in these spots where we need him to do something, and he's not doing anything except putting up numbers. Yeah, Mookie Betts and hitting third. But I don't know, Craig. I don't know. We got to talk about that after the break. Mookie Betts hitting third. This lineup definitely needs to be jumbled. Let's talk about, sorry, hit the mic. Let's talk about how we could better effectively put this lineup together and see if it would help the Dodgers be a little bit more productive. And we'll get to the Otani ticker right after this. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. And you can listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. All right, today's show also brought to you by FanDuel. It's playoff time in the NBA. They are underway. Lakers Nuggets playing tonight. The NHL playoffs are a couple days away. Baseball, of course, in full swing. As I mentioned, Talladega is tomorrow, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every sporting event. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets at FanDuel. Guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks to strikeouts. Laps led in the Talladega Geico 500, all on the app, and it's safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Dodgers fall 6-4. They've lost 7 of 9 and are just a 1 game away from being a 500 baseball team. All right, let's get into the Otani ticker, and we'll then try to figure out a new way to set up this Dodger lineup just for fun, right? All right, Otani's first at bat, a walk. Ho ho! First inning, I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with that. I need to get guys on base in the first inning. That's fine. Second at bat, a walk. Third at bat, ground rule double. That was nice. Got on base, scored the run, I believe, in the third. Did he score in the third? Otani to second. When did he score? Otani scored in the fifth. Sorry. His fourth at bat, bases loaded, strikeout. His fifth at bat, a walk. He does have a good eye, right? He's got a good eye. So maybe put him as the leadoff guy. If he's going to get on base all the time like this, 600 on base percentage, bat him leadoff. Why not? Then we can move Mookie to, where are we going to move Mookie? Third? Make Freddie Freeman the cleanup hitter? If he comes out of this slump, then I'm okay with that. But then who do you put second? Max Muncy? He strikes out too much. Although he's better. He's getting better for sure. More selective, pretty clutch. I just don't know. Okay, maybe Will Smith is still the fourth hitter. All right, hit me up in the comments. So we'll just do the top 5 if we're going to move, because the bottom of the lineup doesn't matter at this point. Where would you move the top 5 in the lineup? Whoever made the comment, I think it was Craig, that we need to jumble this lineup. Mookie needs to hit third. Fine. Okay, so Mookie hits third. Otani goes to first. So we got Otani batting first. Then maybe we put Freddie Freeman at second. Mookie third, because he is clutch and he gets on base. Will Smith bats fourth. And then Teoscar fifth, Max Muncy sixth. You okay with that? I like that. I like that a lot. Otani first, Freeman second. Because Freeman is also a guy that gets on base. He's got a good eye. He walks. He's not going to be this bad for the whole season, right? He'll get it in line. He'll start to make contact. He looked good today. So that's a step in the right direction. And hopefully it'll help him mentally. And that's going to be good for him long term. But right now, I think it's going to help him kind of turn the page. And this team needs anything they can get when it comes to something productive, something effective, something positive. But Otani getting on base 630, Mookie Betts 644. His on base percentage, slugging is 644. His on base is 473. So it's better than Otani's. but at 3, he's going to do more. How many RBIs does he have? I feel like he's just a more effective 18 RBIs, 8th in the league. He's got 6 home runs, which is 4th in the league, and his OPS is 3rd in the league. So his numbers are just better than Otani. Yeah, his OPS is good just because of all those damn walks. Batting average is good. He gets a few hits, but they're not productive hits. 4 home runs, tied 28th, 11 RBIs, tied 57th. So yeah, let's put him at 1st. Let's put Betts at 3rd, Freeman at 2nd, and then keep Will Smith at 4th. How do you like that? What do you think? Anybody have any comments on that? Let me get down to the bottom. Tomorrow is a must win. Yeah, kind of, sort of. I mean, must win in the standpoint that they just need it. I mean, if they lose and they're 500, it's not the end of the world. Again, you can't win the World Series in April. And when you look at other teams around the league, I did this today to kind of make me feel a little bit better. The Yankees are 14-7, so they've cooled off a bit. The Indians are 14-6. They've won 2 in a row. The Rangers, the World Series champions, are 11-10. 5-5 at home, almost identical to the Dodgers, pretty much identical. 1 game over 500 and 500 at home. Pretty interesting. That made me feel a lot better. Braves 13-5, 5-2 at home. They've won 5 in a row. I heard those guys talking about the Braves today, saying they're not invincible and they've cooled off. I don't know about that. The Brewers 13-6 in first place. Dodgers are still in first place, technically speaking. They are a half game above the Padres, who have not played as of yet today. They play the Jays in San Diego, America's finest city, the whale's vagina, at 5:40. So at the end of today, the Padres could be tied for the Dodgers in first place. And if you have any friends who are Padre fans, you will undoubtedly hear about that. A lot of things didn't go well today for the Dodgers. Like, for example, James Outman's obstruction call at second base. That was tough. It just felt like they were always kind of playing from behind, literally and figuratively. They just didn't have any sort of gumption. They're like yesterday, rallied to tie it, and before you knew it, blink of an eye, they were behind again. So I just feel like there's no fight in this dog still. I know losing in April, not that big of a deal. What does the darkness have to say? Otani's fine where he's at. It's not why they lost. No, you're definitely right. But the bullpen is why they lost. And I don't think that's getting better anytime soon. So the Dodgers should be a team with this lineup, talent-wise, production-wise, that can beat you offensively. And they started off this season. How many games? 12 games in a row where they scored 5 or more runs, tying a record, breaking a record. So they are capable of scoring runs. They are just not doing it. And I guess technically 4 is enough to win a game, sure. But you got to have a bullpen that's way more effective. So I don't know. I don't know what the harm would be in jumbling up the lineup. I'm not saying sit Otani down. I'm just saying move him somewhere else. Right? Try something. If this ain't working, which it's not, try something different. It's not going to hurt. This game was a pillow fight for 5 innings. Literally, just mistakes and bad calls and bad decisions and striking out with the bases loaded. Again, let me say 1 for 8 with the bases loaded and 6 Ks. Mookie Betts, the double in the bottom of the first. That was nice. Then Otani walks. Freddie with an RBI single. Teoscar struck out. Muncy walked. Outman struck out. Paez struck out. Just so many clutch strikeouts. Hey, Vaughn. I was baffled with Roberts, who put in Will to bat late and not when we were on a surge with the bases loaded. Hate Roberts managing. I think his time is up after this season, hopefully. Yeah, he didn't make some good calls today. I think this game is different if they do not pull Yarbrough out of the game, because Yarbrough had it working and Yarbrough was good last time out, right? So I think Yarbrough is a guy right now that they could lean on a little bit because his stuff is just good because it's so slow. It's such a departure from what the rest of the league is doing, the 98 mile an hour tailing fastballs. So that call where it looked like it was a hit by pitch, it did hit him, but that guy did not move out of the way. And I don't know if that part of the call is something you can argue or ask for a review on, but that was wrong. The rule is you have to try to get out of the way. And he did not. He just stood there and let the ball hit him. So that would have changed a lot. Leave Yarbrough in. You don't bring in Brazier. Was it Brazier who gave up the home run? Yeah, it changes the complexion of this game tremendously. And it did feel like today Dave Roberts got outmanaged for sure. Outman's obstruction call was correct. Can't roll into the player anymore. Yes, I know the rule. It just seemed like it was an accident and non-intentional. And maybe that's part of the rule. Like, it doesn't matter if you do it by accident or intentional. It's still, you're out. So yeah, I didn't love it. I thought it was a little tough, a little ticky-tack, but you could argue that was the absolute right call. So all in all, bullpen terrible. D- for the bullpen. Aside from the rookie Ramirez from Cal State Fullerton, very good. And Vesia was good. So the two lefties did a nice job. Everyone else, D-. Gavin Stone, D+. A for Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, B-. Shohei Otani, B-. Everybody else at the plate, a D. So they got to get things going. They got to turn things around. It would be nice to see a dominant ass whooping tomorrow. That's what I would really like to see, to salvage one in this series. They're now third consecutive series loss in a row. I just want to see them beat somebody up tomorrow. A getaway day, so they can have a happy plane to wherever they're heading off to. I don't know. Let me look real quick, as I'm not doing the show tomorrow. Sorry. I have Clippers. They are taking on the Dallas Mavericks, round 1 of the playoffs, which starts tomorrow, right at the same time the Dodgers do, because it is a getaway day for them. Thanks for joining us here on the Locked On Dodgers postcast. Dodgers now 12-11, 8-8 at home after the 6-4 loss. You can watch us on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. So they take on the Mets tomorrow, and then off on Monday. Happy plane ride, hopefully, to Washington to take on the Nats. Then on to Toronto for 3 in Toronto. And wow, that is a long road trip. 3 in Washington, 3 in Toronto, 3 in Arizona. They are on the road till May. So they need a win to have that trip be at least getting off on the positive foot, if you will. Again, thanks for joining me here. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast. I am Pete Fox. We will talk again on Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And go Dodgers.